I know Jerry Jones was butthurt after his Cowboys lost 47-9 on his birthday, and he does this weekly radio show with a local Dallas radio station on Tuesdays. And I mean, the radio show host asked him some questions, taking accountability, because it's been a questionable offseason, but Jerry Jones just wasn't really about it. He threatened to fire them because he has rights over the radio station, at least how they cover the Dallas Cowboys. They're all puppets at this point. He runs the whole town in Dallas, these type of businesses, this type of city, and it's led to a lot of pushback. I mean, if you hear the audio, I mean, he's basically going for their jobs, and I thought that was completely bush league, because at this point he is seething with jealousy. He's frustrated, annoyed, and he is always up front and center when the Cowboys are doing well or they're in the headlines, the spotlight. Well, he shies away, he deflects, and gives you probably some of the worst explanations for why the Cowboys haven't been good. And this has been a slow decay. I mean, you think about how they got to this point, 3 consecutive 12-5 records, but it's only yielded 1 playoff win, and that win was against the corpse of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the point where that team was on the way out. They didn't have anything left in the tank. While Mike McCarthy might be a puppet of Jerry Jones, he still hasn't been able to produce on the field. It's been a very shaky head coaching tenure when he's been with Dallas, and the moves that they made, they barely made any this offseason, and the ones they did were head scratching. You let their center walk, and you bring in an aging, washed up Ezekiel Elliott to shore up the running back position because they think Rico Dowell can take the next leap. They don't really look into a second wide receiver, and they take their time trying to extend CeeDee Lamb. They do so after missing all of training camp, and they don't really have a receiver outside of him to threaten the defense. And you have Dak Prescott, who you took time and you restructured the contracts to basically be in the situation where you have to extend him, because if you don't, there's a huge dead cap number that would have been for next year, and that's just not good business. I mean, this guy, yes, he's a billionaire, he's been an oil tycoon, but when you're the owner, GM, and president of football operation, that's simply just too much power. Ever since Jimmy Johnson left, he really was the only reason why Jerry has had any type of success with the Dallas Cowboys, because remember, Jimmy Johnson was the guy that was the architect of the 90s dynasty for the Dallas Cowboys. It wasn't Jerry, it was Jimmy Johnson, let's be clear. They've made a bunch of moves to be relevant, but haven't had a lot of playoff success, haven't even sniffed a Super Bowl, let alone an NFC Championship game. They also have to pay Micah Parsons at this point. Micah is due for another contract extension, which is, it's great that you're hitting on these draft picks, but you got to think about, it's a cap-driven league, and there's only so much of that cap you can distribute to players on your roster. So again, this all comes back to Jerry, and is Jerry ever going to take accountability for himself? It remains to be seen. But again, I just thought that was really bush league of him to threaten people's jobs for just asking him to hold himself accountable.